You've heard a lot about this summit between Kim Jong-un of North Korea and President Trump. President Trump presides over, a $20 trillion economy, however big ours is. I wanted to show you how big North Korea's gross domestic product, they have 23 million. Now, here they are right now. North Korea has only $12 billion total gross domestic product. Vermont, one of our smallest states, has twice that, or 3 times that much, 32 billion, and California has 2.7 trillion. Now, that's what that little island of oppression has. It is a police state. It is essentially one big gulag. The people are terrorized. They're under the control of a vicious dictatorship. And the president thinks he's going to shake that loose. I hope he's right, because the threat of a nuclear war, out of that 12 and a half, $13 billion total GDP, they've managed to create about 30 nuclear warheads, and they're trying to get the delivery mechanism. So essentially, they're spending half of their gross domestic product, at least, on arms. So if they give that up, but Wendy, 12 billion is peanuts.
It's peanuts, but they've got nuclear weapons. So what do? But to see those two smiling, shaking hands, it's almost like a charm offensive going on.
Well, the North Korean newspapers went nuts. They just said, this is so great. It elevates our supreme leader. And of course, it makes that young dictator look like a equal figure with the President of the United States. That's what it does. Now, whether that charm offensive works, we don't know, but just think of that. Let me show you that one more time. Could I look at that graphic one more time? Just look at that. 12 to, it's almost 13 billion. Vermont, smallest state, 32, and California, look at that. California has the GDP of most nations, 2.7 trillion. That's the difference between our country and theirs. And to think you're going to take a slave economy and make it into a superpower economic force is just a pipe dream, unless they're freed and the gospel comes in, freedom comes in, freedom of the press, freedom of innovation. It's got to all be there. You don't get what we've got in this country by having a dictatorship. You get it because we are a free people, and we are able to create, to innovate, and to experiment, and out of that comes this extraordinary economic engine.
And Pat, most experts agree the deal is a good first step, not only towards ridding North Korea of nuclear weapons, but also easing Christian persecution there. Heather Sells has details.
The president is touting North Korea's commitment to rid the Korean peninsula of nuclear weapons. But the two leaders also said they need more negotiations to make it happen. The president's critics are expressing concern.
What we have is a very vague, unspecific framework that maybe is a cause for hope, but hardly confidence.
I read the statement, and it's difficult for me to see if something was actually agreed to or not.
The president's commitment to call off military drills on the Korean peninsula caught many at home and abroad by surprise.
Under the circumstances that we're negotiating a very comprehensive, complete deal, I think it's inappropriate to be having war games.
The message now is, let's try to find a peaceful solution. The military exercises being put on hold is fine with me. It gives us space.
Religious freedom advocates see the summit as a step in the right direction. The president said he talked about Christians in North Korea, quote, very strongly with Kim Jong-un.
I'm encouraged that they did bring it up. They discussed it.
Franklin Graham has delivered humanitarian aid to North Korea for decades. He said he expects persecution will to some degree ease.
No question. No question. I think this meeting with Kim Jong-un and President Trump is huge. And yes, the Christians are going to benefit in North Korea.
The optics of the summit still have much of the world in awe. The two leaders side by side after decades of hostilities between the two nations. Some Democrats say it was a mistake.
This was a big win for Kim Jong-un of North Korea. He got what his father and grandfather never got, a meeting as equals on the world stage.
But Democratic pollster Pat Cadell says the pictures are fantastic and will bump up the president's ratings, which are key to the midterm elections.
This cannot hurt him. I think the American people would like to see this resolved. It would be in the interest of peace, and it would be to everyone's benefit.
The president clearly intends to ride the momentum, tweeting on his arrival back home this morning, "Everybody can now feel much safer than the day I took office." Heather Sells, CBN.